What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to part 2 of the discussion about the future of Jon Snow that I had with the other members of the Golden Company. I don't want to waste any more of your time, so let's pick up right where we left off. When Jon goes to Dragonstone and he meets up with Daenerys and they have this talk about the North, then what's going to happen? Is Dany going to choose sides with Jon? What's Jon going to do next?
I think that Jon's gonna remind Daenerys of her brother Rhaegar or what she knew of him. And I think that obviously at first she is going to be thinking about herself, and she has been thinking about herself, even though she's got a really good idea of what she wants to do. She's freed slaves and she's done good things, but also terrible things have happened. Terrible things happen in war. And I think she might warm up to the idea that if there is no Iron Throne left in the end, the Night's King and the White Walker army just they ravage the lands in winter, because ice is not life, right? Fire is technically life in this world. So I think that she can get behind what Jon is saying. I think it will be like a thing of destiny, where it's just an epiphany, where her and Jon have a conversation. Is this something that feels right? And we do know that Targaryens have prophetic dreams or prophetic visions. So for the most part in the books, we haven't seen a lot of that in the show, but a conversation between them could have a similar type effect in the show. It's more visual when we see it more in their body language and in their faces. So I think that could happen, and then that Daenerys could really get behind what Jon is saying because he's so confident in what he believes. So what he's saying to her is he's really going to pitch it, and he's going to be like, listen, this is straight up. I'm going to tell you, everybody's going to die if you don't help me anyways. So she'll eventually get behind it.
Do you think she'll send any men up north?
Yeah, definitely. I think she has to. She won't have a choice at this point. She'll become curious, like Gray and Gemma have been saying, and I think she won't send her whole force, obviously, because I think her goal right now is to get her family seat back. She definitely wants the Iron Throne back. She wants to restore the Targaryen dynasty in Westeros. Obviously, that's been her goal since season 1, and she's finally trying to achieve that. And I think most of us are on board and we're like, okay, finally Daenerys is leaving Meereen. We want to see this happen, but I think if you look at the House of the Undying vision, really, I think it's pretty indicative that her destiny is in the north, right? I mean, she goes beyond the wall. It's very cold, and then she finds Rhaego and Drogo. I think that's indicative that her destiny is in the north. So I think that she will remember what she saw. She never touches the throne, but Snow is on the throne, and I know some of us think that means that Jon Snow will be on the throne. I know that I think that, but I think that I think she will send some of her force there. But her forces will be split up, like you said. Like Euron's probably going to smash part of her Dothraki fleet or whatnot. But I think she'll be curious and she'll have to send people up there.
See, I don't agree. Not right away. Not on the word of Jon alone. I think she'll listen to him and it'll be very respectful, and she'll be curious, and she'll probably think he's really hot because, let's face it, Jon Snow. But I think she's got that laser beam focus on the Iron Throne in the way Jon does with the Night's King, and I think she will be ultimately, unfortunately, a bit dismissive, and I think she will say, oh yeah, that's great, okay, brilliant, but right now this is my focus and this is my priority. And I think she'll turn her sights to King's Landing. She may have a change of heart, something might prompt her, but I think initially she's not going to support Jon, and I think their first meeting might not go down fabulously.
I agree with Secrets. I think she is going to wait. I think her main focus is going to be the Iron Throne and the dispensement of Cersei. I also think because of some of the leaked photos where Euron has Yara and some of the Sand Snakes, I think she might want to focus more on getting them back, because she has made alliances with them, and if it wasn't for them, she wouldn't be in Dragonstone. So I think she needs to get them back, or at least try to get them back, or at least show her force. So I don't think she'll be focused on what Jon's focused on. I think they'll be on two different pages, but I don't think she will write him off as being crazy. I think she might just, be like, well, right now I have to do this. I'll get back to you later on that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I don't think she's gonna send men up north right away because she just got the Dragonstone, and Cersei's gonna be aware of that. She still has her focus on that, and she's not gonna want to leave herself open for attack or vulnerable, especially after she just lost all those men and a big part of her fleet at sea. So if she sent men north, it would kind of leave Daenerys open for attack.
So is this a scenario that we're going to get where we're talking, I can talk about spoilers here, right, Dan, where basically Jon doesn't get the support he needs, so he goes north to catch a white, and then this is what is like, Daenerys, boom, here's the fucking white. You got to do something about this now. Is that where we're going to be going to?
Well, if we go off of the evidence from this off season of the spoiler photos and reports and stuff like that, it does appear that that's going to happen. But I'm curious to see what Gray and Secrets have to say about this, because I know they were a bit skeptical of some of this stuff at first. What do you two think about this?
I do think that Daenerys is going to want proof. But if she wants proof, she should get on the back of her dragon and take her ass north of the wall. I don't think she should. I think it's stupid to task someone with going north of the wall and capturing a white and bringing it back. I think that a suicide mission. I don't see why she just can't go and see for herself, because she has a dragon. She can get there in no time. But
yeah, I agree. I actually said that before. Daenerys could be way up in the sky and fly up north to where she would be out of reach and out of harm if she did see the Night King and his army. So all she'd have to do is do a quick fly up, check it out, and then come back. And like you said, she could see for herself without endangering anybody, especially the king in the motherfucking north.
Right. So if she does that, I don't know, that's a little selfish of her, but she may do. I mean, I do think, though, she will require proof, because she's probably never heard of anything. She's been in Essos her whole life, so she's probably never heard of the others or the White Walkers. It's all foreign to her. So to hear that, like, I would want proof. I wouldn't necessarily task anybody with going to get me a zombie and bring it back to me, but I would just want proof. They don't have pictures, but if I had a dragon, I'd just do a flyover and get the proof for myself. I don't know. I think maybe her proof could come from Jorah and Sam. Sam knows about the whites. Jorah is from Westeros. He's from the north. He's from Bear Island, so he knows a lot about them. So maybe it's Jorah that convinces her.
See, this is how I've reconciled it in my mind. I think if Daenerys was to outright ask for evidence, for proof, she would be very irresponsible, to say the least. I don't think she will ask for proof. I think it's a decision Jon will make through sheer frustration. How can I convince her? I need proof. I need to show her. That's the only way round this. I can think. I can't see her expecting him to go and do that. Like you said, it's a suicide mission. And I can't see, she can be full of her own self-importance at the best of times, but she's not completely irresponsible in that way. She was quite happy to take on Theon and Yara and speak to them on a level, I don't think she would expect that from Jon, but I think it's something he might make of his own accord, a decision that he might make, in which case he's going to need a dream team. What do we think about that?
I think I'll eat every fucking chicken in this room.
I agree. I mean, I agree that he will need a dream team to catch a white.
Do you think Jon would be willing to lay down his titles to get this help and say, look, I'm willing to give up my title as king in the north for you to help me? Do you think that could convince Daenerys?
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's he'll do whatever it takes, and if that's what it takes, I'm not sure if Daenerys will expect that from him, but if she did, he would do that.
Yeah, that would be kind of shocking for somebody to be willing to give up that title, especially, I mean, Jon didn't necessarily want to be king, but he did want to be respected. And for him to be willing to do that to someone he just met for the first time, I think it would be pretty clear that what he's saying is the truth.
How's
Yeah,
that
at a point, that would convince him.
Okay, so when Jon leaves Dragonstone, Kyle, do you think that this alliance will be formed? Will Jon leave and him and Daenerys be on good terms at this point?
Are we in episode 5 or 6 at this point? Pretty late in the
Probably.
season. Yeah. Because I think, well, I mean, he gets at Dragonstone, episode 3, early episode 3. They leave Dragonstone, late episode 4, maybe? Episode 5, early episode 5. Yeah, I have to think so, man, because we only got 7 episodes, right? And I think the wall has to fall. And I think Jon at least has to be near or watching it happen. So I think that before that happens, I think he knows how important it is to get Daenerys' army. Her army is absolutely massive. We have the Unsullied. Let's say part of the wall just falls down and there's like a Battle of Thermopylae type scenario. They are uniquely trained to fight in that sort of style, the Phalanx. So, I mean, obviously the Night King can just reanimate the dead, but certainly they would be helpful. They haven't fought in wintry conditions, but I mean, the sheer numbers of them is a big thing. And I have to think that Jon wouldn't be that irresponsible to let any sort of political agenda decide the fate of the realm, essentially. Because in the end, if Jon is still around, I think the Iron Throne is gone, right? And that's what ultimately it comes down to. Yeah, Daenerys wants the Iron Throne, but I think he's going to make her believe that, like, seriously, yeah, the Iron Throne is all good and dandy, but we say dandy here in Canada, so get with that, people. But yeah, I think that, you know, obviously he's going to be pretty convincing, and he's all business at this point. I mean, he could have just basically refused the call to go see Daenerys and been like, yo, I got other stuff to deal with. You go deal with King's Landing. But he's making the time to go down there and speak with her and let her know what's going on. And Jon is a pretty intelligent guy, and Tyrion knows that Jon is truthful, and Jon came from nothing. So I think that he would give up his titles. I mean, I don't think that the titles matter to him. Gemma had previously referenced that that would happen. So yeah, I think that it has, not that it will happen, it has to happen for the story to progress.
Yeah, I totally agree. I know if I was Jon, as soon as I left Dragonstone, if I had, you know, a boat or ship full of dragon glass, I would get all of that up north and I would man the entire wall. All those old castles along the wall that are no longer being manned, I would get every swinging dick that I had in those castles on top of that wall, armed with dragon glass. What do you think about that? Do you think he's going to do something like that when he leaves Dragonstone? Do you see him manning the wall as soon as possible, knowing that that threat is getting closer and closer to the wall?
I think he does that before he leaves Winterfell, because in the books he has relinquished those castles to Stannis, and he started, like, he gave one to Tormund, so he's already started manning those castles. And I think that for the show, I think it'll stay on that same course, because that's the first line of defense, is the wall. So the wall needs to be full capacity on the wall.
I would want enough men on that wall to where they could all stretch their arms out and they could be touching everybody along the entire wall.
I agree.
What do you think, Secrets? Is he going to man the wall ASAP?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Grace said, he's doing this in the books just before the Night's Watch got all stabby on him. He was, he was getting everybody into position. He didn't have the men as much as he would like to do that, but he was doing the best he can. The question is, though, I mean, you know, we've been deciding whether Daenerys is going to believe him. Does she need proof? But what about the Northern men? If he's trying to get them to man the wall, I mean, they're the only army he's got. They're the only forces he's got. So is he going to ask them to go to the wall? Are they going to do that? Are they going to be cool with joining the Watch, you know, taking the black? I think that might be another issue for him. He's just going to have hurdle after hurdle after hurdle. He's going to need proof.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I think it was one of the men from the Knights of the Vale, right before or after the King of the North scene. John was telling them about the threat and about the winter, and one of the men, I believe was from the Knights of the Vale, he said we should all go home and just wait out the storm. And John said, the Night King brings the storm, motherfuckers. You can't sit at home and wait this thing out. Like, we need to come together and prepare for this. So, like you said, Secrets, are they going to be willing to do this? That's the question.
I think he totally has. I think Houses Manderley, Kerwin, and Glover will do whatever he commands them to do. So if they have men, House Manderley has a lot. I think he has the third largest army in the north. So I think he can help him out. I also think the Wildlings will help him out. And also Stannis had some stray army up in the north that kind of deserted him. So maybe they might seek refuge at the wall. And John has also asked, what's her name? Rickard Karstark's daughter. I forget her name,
Elise?
but Elise. He's asked her to send men to the wall, and she's agreed to do that. So that's in the books. So I think that's going to play out, because I think she was casted this season. So that might actually play out.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're definitely going to see that part come into play up north. When John leaves Dragonstone, where is he going to go next?
Back to Winterfell for sure. I mean, I imagine that Jon is not going to go to King's Landing. Perhaps he goes to the Riverlands and they try to get a larger army. I think that obviously he knows he needs as many men as he can get for the War for the Dawn. The Night's Watch only has how many people left? Like 30 people the last time we saw them.
Yeah, maybe.
Dolores said, I mean, he's a great dude, but I don't think he can man the wall against the White Walkers. I just don't think they simply have enough people. And Gray, you're doing, I believe, the Night's King's army in your next video, if I'm not mistaken, how big it is?
Yep.
And you maybe want to give a little preview for that on how large you think it might be?
I think Daenerys has more than him.
Ooh, okay, that's a spicy nugget. I was gonna think that you think the Night's King's army is bigger, but yeah, I mean, I don't think that Jon would be going very far, Mr. Talking Thrones. I think that Jon would want to get right back to Winterfell, and like Gemma said, he's laser focused. So getting to Dragonstone, getting that Dragon Blast, getting that Dragon Glass, using Littlefinger's jetpack, back to Winterfell.
Does everybody agree with that? You think he's going to head right back to Winterfell?
Yeah, he's going back to Winterfell, definitely.
What's he going to do when he gets there? What do you think?
Make sure Littlefinger hasn't taken over the world.
Hey, 5 episodes, that fucker could. What do you say, Gray? He heading back to Winterfell right away, or is he going to go to the wall?
Back to Winterfell. Oh, well, actually, he might. This is what he might do. He might take a ship from Dragonstone to Eastwatch by the Sea. And maybe drop some people off there. Check on the situation there. Check on the Night's Watch. And then come back down to Winterfell.
So do you think this season's going to end with Jon Snow being in Winterfell?
Yes, he's going to be in Winterfell in the crypts with Bran. And then they're going to just zoom in on Lyanna's statue and cut us off and let us chew on our fingers for another year.
Oh man, that'll be so fantastic if they do that. Let me ask somebody this, because it's kind of hard to ignore this. So many spoilers have came out, and a report came out that Jon Snow and some other people were filming in Iceland. And whenever they film in Iceland, those scenes are always north of the wall. Does anybody think Jon Snow is going to go north of the wall next season?
I think we need to get Gemma's opinion. We need to hear her luscious voice. Come on, Gemma.
See, this is the thing with these spoilers. When they first came out, I mean, I haven't done a video on these either because I have read them, but I just there's a spoiler You know, when you're not caught up, or you haven't seen it yet and somebody's talking about it, or that's a spoiler. Then there's a spoiler when somebody creates a theory and it turns out to be a correct theory. That's a spoiler. And then there's spoiling it, you know, just outright spoiling it. And that's a different kind of spoiler, and that's not one I'm on board with. But he's got to go and get proof, whether he's asked for it or whether he's just decided that he needs to go and get it for Daenerys, for the Northern Men. He needs, if he can't prove it, if he can't convince Westeros, then he's screwed. And he has to convince everybody. He has to make sure everybody's on the same page. And really, I can only see one way he could do that, and that is to show them. They need to see.
And how do you think he does that then? Are you agreeing with some of the reports that came out that Jon goes and captures a white to bring it south? Is that what you're thinking he could do?
Yeah, I'm thinking ultimately that's what he's going to need to do. When Alistair Thorne took that hand to King's Landing, it had rotted. It was withered away to nothing. It wasn't crawling around anymore. I mean, winter's here now, so maybe it would last a little bit longer. But I think he's going to need something a little bit more tangible than a hand in a jar. I think they need a live specimen.
Yeah, that's a good point that winter's now here, because a lot of people have been up in debate about this, whether or not Jon could actually get a white that far south without it rotting away. But like you said, winter is here. It's going to be a hell of a lot colder. The north is going to be blanketed in snow. So he could travel that thing a pretty good distance and keep it preserved.
Let's just say this. I've had quite a few cups of Shade of the Hypening. And I think that, yes, it's going to happen. Me and you have had many discussions about these leagues. I don't know, man. There's something about what Miss Sanday, Natalie Emanuel, said when these leagues first came out. She was pretty miffed. Even though she's my future wife, I forgive her. But yeah, I think for things to really move forward, Jon has to have a couple more meetings versus the Night King. So I think that they'll have an initial stare down. Again, we have Benjen that's north of the wall. I mean, they brought him back last season. We can have an interaction there. Maybe there's wildlings that are still left that can still be saved. Who knows, man? But I think that ultimately Jon's destiny is north of the wall or in the north. Obviously, the wall's going to fall at some point. But I do think he's going to be north of the wall this season. I do actually believe that that white scenario is going to be a thing. So I'm on board with that.
If we go with all the spoiler photos we've seen, Jon is with a hell of a cast of players heading north. So if Jon were to go north of the wall to try and capture a white, he's definitely taking the type of people you would need to do that. I actually believe he will do it. I don't know if he's going to be successful. I can't guarantee he's actually going to get a white south, but I think he will attempt it.
Will there be 13 of them altogether? There has to be. The last hero with the 13th commander of the Night's Watch. That's how many figures the Night King had behind him when he turned the baby. There was the main guy, and then there was his 12 companions.
Yeah, like his 12 disciples.
Didn't the last hero have 11 companions and a dog or a hound?
Yeah, he did have a dog, I believe.
Yeah, so Ghost plus Jon plus Sandor, Davos, Theon, like the main cripples, bastards, and broken things that are left in the story.
Yeah, pretty much. I agree with that.
I agree too.
I think if you catch a white, how do you get it through the wall? Because the wall has magic in it.
I think he takes it around.
Like in a ship.
Yeah.
So then he would have to take a ship to there from Dragonstone.
Yeah, I think Jon... See, all of you said he's going to stop at Winterfell as soon as he leaves Dragonstone, but I actually disagree. I think he's going to leave Dragonstone and go straight to the wall. I think he might send out some ravens from Dragonstone, unless he sends Tormund to the wall before he leaves. But I think when he leaves Dragonstone, he could get word to his men, hey, she don't believe us. We got to get proof. Meet me at the wall.
Yeah, I think I'm along on those same lines. I don't want them to go catch a white, because
I don't either.
those are some of my favorite characters on that roster, on that Suicide Squad.
If the Hound dies, we riot.
But just to steal one of Kyle's quotes, if they do go beyond the wall to try to capture a white with this group of characters, it's going to be pure, straight gasoline.
Yeah, I'm glad I got you on that one. Everybody's going to be saying it's going to be one of those new hit words that's trending. From a Canadian, nonetheless.
I just realised I said live specimen, and of course, I mean undead specimen. I'd just like to clear that one up.
That's all right. I believe that's exactly how it was worded in the plot leak. I think it said live specimen. So, Seekers, let me ask you this. Do you think John's going to be successful in getting this white south?
Oh, absolutely. He'll get it. He'll get what he went to go and get. But it's going to come at a really heavy price. So what's he got? His 11 disciples and his dog, his direwolf. They're not all coming back. Not by a long stretch. I think Brienne, maybe, and the Hound, perhaps. Is Beric and Thoros of Myr going? If they're not a chance of they coming back, because I mean Beric's dead in the books anyway. It's not looking good for Brienne in the books. So, and it's not looking good for the Hound in the books either. So, basing on that, I think none of those are coming back. Sorry, Kyle.
Fake news.
Do you want to challenge that, Kyle? Do you think the Hound dies up there?
I would like to challenge Gemma of the House Secrets to a trial by combat.
Sorry,
Never.
but the Hound's getting it. He's done. Toast, brown bread.
Everybody
think?
that watches this video, I want you to revolt in the comment section at this absolute clusterfuckery that's going on in this friggin' podcast right now. This is absolutely absurd. The Hound will not die.
I think the Hound's gone. I think everybody that goes with him is gone except for Gendry, John himself, and Jorah. Even though I don't even know if Jorah will make it.
I don't think Brienne's going to go, but I do think Thoros and Beric will definitely die. Just like Secret said, I don't see them coming back. Benjen will probably die. I do see him going full white, if he isn't already. I mean, we still don't know Benjen's full intentions. He might be sending Bran through the wall purposely to bring it down. Benjen's eyes aren't blue, but we don't really know his intentions. What do you think about that, Gray? What do you think about Benjen?
Can he die? Can he die? Does he need dragon glass? Do they need dragon glass to kill him? Does he have to be killed a special way? Because technically he's dead.
Yeah, he said the children did put the dragon glass through his heart, just like the Night King. So, yeah, I'm not sure about that.
I would really like to see Benjen be able to come through the wall with Jon and help him.
I actually think Benjen's going to go full white, or White Walker, whatever you want to call it. And I think at some point, Jon's going to have to put him down. That was my prediction.
Oh, that would break John's heart. It really would. I mean, that would be awful. But yeah, I can see that happening too. Do you know what? I've never thought about that one. You've really given me a bit of food for thought there. It would absolutely break John's heart. All he's ever thought, he thinks throughout the books, years after Benjen goes missing, he still holds out hope, even to the point where he knows he's being stupid. But, the relationship that he had with Benjen was a really special one. And wow, that would be really, really sad.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, can you imagine that? Seeing your uncle for the first time in years, and he's now another, and then you have to basically decide, am I going to allow him to kill me or my men, or am I going to have to stop him? That would be a tough decision, but you know what decision you'd have to make. You'd have to put him down.
Yeah,
Benjamin?
and John always makes the decision that has to be made, no matter how difficult it is. He makes that decision if he needs to. He'll do what needs to be done.
Well, and we look back to one of the very first meetings between Benjamin. Well, when he came back to Winterfell, he told John about love, and then John embraced Ygritte when he was north of the wall. So I think that particular conversation, you don't know what you would be missing, will be really strong for him, because he would have to kill Benjamin, and he absolutely loves his uncle. He was very close to him.
Gray, what do you think about that? Do you think there could come a point to where John would have to decide?
It would be heartbreaking to see that, but he has always, throughout his whole life, had to make difficult decisions. So I don't think it's going to change in season 7. I think he's going to have a lot of difficult decisions to make. And while I don't necessarily believe that is going to happen, I think it's possible. It's very possible to happen. And I think it's actually poetic if he has to do that. I don't know if poetic is the right word, because it would be heartbreaking, but that's what George R.R. Martin and that's what Dan and Dave, that's what they like to do to us. They like to build us up and break our heart.
Absolutely. So where does everybody seeing John end up at the end of season 7? Like, where do we see him at in the last episode? What do you think he's doing? Is he down south showing off this white? Did he already do that and he's back at Winterfell or back at the wall? Where do you think he's going to be at, Kyle, when we see him for one last time next season?
I think he's going to be in the Crypts of Winterfell when the Horn of Winter blows and the wall's going to fall. It's going to make a really, really nasty sound. And that's going to be the moment where Jon was about to interact with Lyanna's statue in the crypt. And then that's really going to start to take things off. And we're going to see parts of the wall fall. And then we're just going to hear this big noise. That's my tinfoil. So I think Jon's actually going to be in the Crypts of Winterfell after returning from his destination of Dragonstone. And it's going to be really crazy because he's going to be down in the Crypts of Winterfell and hear this like loud noise. I think all the Westeros will hear it. I think it's going to be sweet.
Yeah, I agree. I do think everybody's going to hear it. I think it's going to be like a massive earthquake that, sends shockwaves across that entire continent. What does everybody else think about Jon, where his last scene will be? What do you think, Secrets?
You know what you were both just saying there, that gave me absolute shivers. I can totally visualize that. That would be amazing. And I agree, it's going to be heard all over Westeros when that thing comes down. I've read a lot about this. I've read a lot of theories and ideas. I do a lot of research for my videos, and quite a few people have suggested that it doesn't have to come down like a whole big crash. It could just be a crack, or it could just be a portion. But you are not going to build a wall, a fantasy wall, into your text to not have it crash down dramatically. Why would you? Why would it just be a little whisper when it could be an absolute firestorm? And that would be amazing. Apparently, if you are on the high tower in Old Town, you can actually see the wall. It is that big. So it will be heard, and I think we'll get a shot not just of Jon, but of all the characters looking up and hearing that, no matter where, in all the different locations from King's Landing, Dragonstone, wherever they are, they're all going to hear that, and shit's going down.
I agree with what Gemma said, because if you think about it, there's supposedly this Jorman. I know I'm going to butcher the name. Jorman's horn. Jorman. Somebody. How does it pronounce?
Jorman, isn't it?
Jorman. Okay, that horn is said to bring down the wall, or to wake sleeping giants, or something like that. But if you think about how massive that collapse would be of the wall, it would probably be so massive that it might cause like catastrophes. It might affect an earthquake, and it might cause a really bad storm like at sea. just from like this actual, it could be actual seismic activity related to that wall. And just if there was anything that was going to wake giants, or if there was any giants to be awakened, then it would be, if that wall crashes down, they're going to be awake. If they were sleeping, they're up now.
Possibly even the Kings of Winter.
Do not even get me started on the Kings of Winter. I mean, do not even go there. The fear of fake news being chanted repeatedly over what I'm trying to say here, I'm calling it right now. Those dead kings in the crypts of Winterfell are coming. They are coming, and they are going to be Jon's army. And this is my tinfoil. They are going to rise from their cold black graves, stumbling, and Jon Snow will be in the crypt, and he'll be like, Night King, you've got an undead army? Well, snap. How's that?
This message was endorsed by GrayArea. I agree with Secrets.
That sounds phenomenal, actually. Jon's dead or undead army, however you want to look at it, against the Night Kings. I would love that. I hope we get to see that on the screen, actually. That would be amazing.
So like Aragorn and Lord of the Rings type deal? Is that what we're saying?
Exactly.
Nice. I'm in. Kyle's Fookin Chickens endorses this message.
Is there anything else anybody wants to add to this? Like, before we go, is there any other scenarios you can see Jon Snow in before the end of the season? Kyle, do you want to add anything?
I think that the shift from King's Landing to the north will be a significant one this season. Obviously, we'll still get some stuff in King's Landing, but I think the big event was the Sept of Baelor blowing up. I think that's the big moment, other than the Red Keep being destroyed at some point by the White Walkers if they get there. But I do think we're in for a couple of shocking hold the door moments. The leaks didn't say that Arya and Jon would meet back again, but how could they not do that? Are they really going to make us wait? I think that Jon and Arya are going to meet again next season, and it's going to make me cry like a small child. I can be your family. Oh my God, I can't wait for that.
Yeah, I'm on the same page with Kyle. Besides what we've already talked about, I think that there's going to be two more things that we haven't talked about that are going to happen. He's going to reunite with Arya, I think, in episode 7. Before he goes down to the crypts, he probably reunites with Arya and maybe Bran. But I also think he's going to have a rift with Sansa. I think him and Sansa are going to be at odds most of season 7.
Can I comment on this? I am absolutely in disagreement with this statement, but I do love GrayArea.
Yeah, I can't say I agree with that either. There might be a little tension between them two, but Jon's going to be gone for so long. Like, he's going to be in Dragonstone for several episodes, and I think he's going to be north of the Wall for several episodes. Then we may even see him do this parlay scene in King's Landing. I'm still not sure. I'm still not sold on that one, but I just don't think we're going to get a lot of scenes with Sansa and Jon together to see too much of this bumping of heads.
I agree. I feel that Sansa will be having poison dripped into her ear via Littlefinger throughout the course of the season. So there will be a kind of at odds with Jon, but Jon might not necessarily be there to be aware of what's going on, because obviously his focus is elsewhere. So I think it's going to be up to Sansa and Arya to deal with Littlefinger. I have faith. I think Sansa's going to come good. I know not many people agree, but I'm holding out hope that Sansa's going to finally, for once, do the right thing.
I agree. I agree that that Littlefinger is going to be in her ear, and I think what will cause the biggest rift between her and Jon, they might be in different locations. It might happen through ravens. It might, I don't know. But if he bends the knee, I don't think she's going to be happy about it, because I think she's going to feel like we've done all of this stuff. We fought for our home back. You're king in the north. We're no longer under the rule of any southern kings and you go and do this.
That's a very good point. I didn't even think about that. If Sansa does get news that Jon bent the knee, then yeah, I could definitely see her having a problem with that. Absolutely. Especially him bending the knee to another woman. I could absolutely see that.
I think Jon, his whole story this season is going to be choices, like difficult choices. Like, what if Daenerys says, the only way I'll join your army or I'll do, like, what if she has stipulations other than just him bending the knee? What if she requires him to make marriages of his sisters to Tyrion or to not Grey Worm, my God, but Jorah or someone like, that's how alliances are made. So there has to be some kind of marriage.
She might have terms behind this alliance. I like that idea, actually. And if that does happen, hopefully it's Tyrion and Sansa, in my opinion.
What about Theon? Well, Theon's kind of Team Targaryen now, isn't he? So, and I'm trying to think, who would she sell off via marriage? I mean, yeah, there's going to be an issue with Theon producing an heir, but I can't really think. I mean, she's got no family. There's no one else. Well, she does have family, but I think there's going to be a marriage, but I don't think it's going to be happening with Jon or anything like that, or with any of the Team Targaryen. I think that's going to be in King's Landing with Cersei and Euron.
But I don't think Jon's going to be getting married next season. Things could change by season 8, but I don't see him wifing anybody up by the end of next season. He's just got too much shit to do. Now, if he was forced to, if he had no choice, then maybe. But I don't know. I mean, Daenerys did say, she could possibly get married again, so we really don't know how that's going to play out. I know everybody ships not everybody, because I don't know you guys' opinion on this, but a lot of people ship Jon and Dany, and a lot of people want to see that happen next season. Personally, I do not want to see that happen.
No, I don't want to see that happen. I really don't want to see that happen.
I don't want to see it either, but I somehow think that might happen.
I think that season 7 is going to be the best season of television ever. So really what's going to happen is we had some news come out on Watchers on the Wall the other day. Mike GrayArea said that if we thought that Battle of the Bastards was big, that pales in comparison to season 7 and season 8 stuff. So I think that we're in for some major stuff. And I think that another battle with the White Walkers is going to happen. But this time we're going to see Jon fight the Night's King at some point this season.
Oh, shit. You think Jon's going to fight the Night King 1v1?
I think it's definitely possible. I think he's going to fight a White Walker 1,000% next season. And I think he's going to... And this time I think that he's going to be so pissed off with what is happening. We're really going to see the fire side of Jon come out this season. Like I said, the natural evolution of Jon is for him to adopt more of his fire side and then have a balance of it by the end. But I think that we're going to, Jon's going to go a little bit berserk, like Wolverine kind of, and lose his mind a little bit. Because we do know that death changed him a lot. I mean, he saw what was really up, you know what I mean? Just the darkness, that's not a good thing. And he's still here, and a lot of people aren't jamming with what he's doing. So he's trying to be effective in everything he's doing. So I think that when he sees things aren't going right, he's gonna be really pissed off. But it's gonna turn a lot of women on. Like Gemma and Gray, they're gonna be like drinking lots of wine when this happens. So
I drink lots of wine anyway.
I saw that glass you had. It's like at least 76 ounces.
What are you saying about Jon changing, though? I mean, did he really? I mean, like Beric Dondarrion, and I know he's died a lot more times, but his memory's gone. The physical parts of him are gone. He's an absolute shadow of his former self, with the singular mission of his real only last living memory. I was expecting more of a change in Jon in season 6 when he came back, and yeah, it was there, and it was subtle. He did things that he possibly wouldn't have done before. But did he change as much as you expected him to do? Because I expected something, I don't know, more dramatic, perhaps.
Well, I've been saying John's going to adopt his fireside, and I think we're going to get a flashback the night of the Laughing Tree. Lyanna's pretty fiery for a wolf, wild wolf. He's the white wolf. You think they're going to make that connection this season? I mean, that's a big part of his story, right? I mean, ultimately, I don't think you'll find out until season 8. It's just like a big Luke Skywalker type moment, like, "Hey, Leia's your sister. You've been kissing her." You know what I mean? But this is huge. You think that these hints, they're going to keep on dropping these hints this season? Like, this got to be a big thing, right?
I think he's already fiery. I think most of who he is his Stark blood. Like, I think we need to see more Rhaegar than Lyanna. I think that's what we see all the time is Lyanna, and that's what we've seen the whole show, because throughout everything, Jon has always been compared to Arya. Jon has always been a Stark. Even when he ranges beyond the wall, Craster, as soon as he sees him, says, "You have the look of a Stark." So not just in his looks, like in his actions of how much honor he has and how much, I don't know where I was going, but not just in his action, not just in his looks, but in his actions, like him dedicating his life to saving the realm. Like, he could be really selfish right now and just like drink and just chill out and just let winter come and kill everyone. He could be really selfish like that, but he's trying to fight for everyone. And I just think we've always seen Lyanna. We need to see some Rhaegar.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I would love to see that side of him come out more. And maybe we could see that when he is around other Targaryens like Daenerys, or maybe when he's around these dragons. Perhaps that's when we can really start to see this Targaryen side of Jon start to come out.
I agree. And I think even him being able to touch the dragon, because I think he will be able to touch it, even him being able to touch it, and like right away he might not think anything of it, but later he might start putting things together in his own mind, like, why was I able to touch this dragon? Because I'm sure she might say something. I'm sure she might say, like, my dragons usually don't let people touch them or stuff like that.
Season 7, we waited a long time, and as much as Dan and Dave get criticized, I think this season is going to be absolutely fantastic. If we're looking at the model from Breaking Bad for their last 2 seasons, and Game of Thrones is following that model, we can expect a hell of a season. So I think that everyone that listens to this video, and supporters of the Golden Company, we're going to have a lot more of this coming for you guys. Wow, I'm overwhelmingly excited. I think that everyone else should be, and I think the final focus of magic, dragons, and really the coming together of the realm is going to be like the Return of the King and Lord of the Rings, but better on television over 13 episodes. So give that a little taste.
I think season 7 is going to be awesome. And what I think is even going to be more awesome is that we're going to be live streaming after every episode and having breakdowns and predictions and just going crazy.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be fantastic. We're all going to come together and it's going to be chaos, because some holy shit, what the fuck moments are going to land, and we'll have this wonderful script and we're going to do it like this, and then something's going to happen and it's just going to be a free-for-all. It's going to be a right laugh. We're going to have a lot of fun. So make sure you come and join the Golden Company.
Absolutely, I agree with everything you all just said. I can't wait for Season 7. It's going to be epic. Now that all the main cast and characters are going to be crossing paths with each other, things are going to get very exciting. And I also can't wait to record with all of you and discuss all the episodes during this upcoming season. But before we sign off, would all of you like to say your goodbyes?
Yes, absolutely. I've been Gemma from Secrets of the Citadel. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for joining us, guys. It's GrayArea, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, very fun time, Dan. Thank you for having me. Great Talk finally got to collab with the Golden Company. Let's do it again soon.
Thank you all so much for coming on. We're actually going to be doing another video together, and it's going to be over on Secrets of the Citadel's channel, and it's going to be about Cersei Lannister. So definitely be looking forward to that. Definitely keep your eyes open for that, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.